Sports Spectacular. We are live at the St. Paul Civic Center in St. Paul, Minnesota for the scheduled 10-round heavyweight bout between the veteran Scott LeDoux, the hometown boy, against undefeated Marty Monroe, 19-0-1 according to Ring Magazine. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton. Welcome again to the Sports Spectacular. And we have an unusual story today because LeDoux was originally scheduled to fight the veteran Ron Lyle. But Ron Lyle had his nose broken in a sparring session just last week by Marty Monroe. So now Marty Monroe has the chance of a lifetime to show what he can do. He is not shy, he's not reserved, and if words could count, he'd be way ahead right now.
So if Scott LeDoux think I can't hang, he's got another thing coming, because I've been with the best of them. I've been with champions. This man ain't been nowhere near no champion. I've been with him. I've been around him. I know how to handle him. I can stick with the best of them. So you're going to be able to say you saw it first on CBS, because I'm going to give him a good whooping in a good fashion.
I'll tell you, he is confident, maybe even a cocky fighter for guys never really had the big test. You know him because he has been a sparring partner for some of your fighters.
Yes, I used him with George Foreman, but he never really acted like a sparring partner. Always had confidence in himself. He had a spar to eat. But now he's fighting, he's undefeated. Maybe he'll pass this test today.
And it is a test, because though Scott LeDoux went back when he lost to Mike Weaver, the fact still remains that he's a brawler, and he's going to have to avoid the brawler today as we look at Monroe.
Yes, that's what it's going to be all about. It's going to be a brawler against an educated left hand.
And there is Scott LeDoux, and I'll tell you, these fighters have been taunting each other. We were talking to them between the very thin walls of the dressing room, and one was yelling at the other, and you have to wonder whether one was nervous. You know that LeDoux at 31 has been there before. Monroe hasn't, although they both started fighting in 1974, Gil.
Well, LeDoux has the experience, but as you say, they've been taunting each other just down in the ring again. I think this first round is going to be a very interesting round.
You know what it is like? It is like an actor who has been an understudy for a long time, and he finally gets the chance. He finally gets the chance because Ron Lyle couldn't make it. And now it is Marty Monroe with his chance of a lifetime, because he is undefeated, as we mentioned, according to Ring Magazine, 19-0-1 with 10 knockouts. He likes to talk to his opponents. He likes to talk, period. And that's what he's doing to Scott LeDoux, who is cool, calm, and collected. So that's the setting as we get underway, ready for round one of our scheduled 10-round bout. Dick Stockton and Gil Clancy. The Minnesota Board of Boxing Rules employs a 10-point must system. We have two ringside officials and the referee. They will judge and score the fight. The 3 knockdown rule, as you look at Bundini Brown in the background of Monroe, the 3 knockdown rule and the mandatory 8 count have been waived. We have an 18-foot ring as we're underway in round one, and Monroe, the boxer, against the brawler LeDoux. Monroe circling to his left, facing you right now.
I'm sure that Monroe has studied films of the fight, the Weaver fight with Scott LeDoux, when Weaver's left jab just ate Scotty, just took him apart. And I'm looking forward to seeing Monroe try to follow the same pattern. Can they keep this big, tough brawler off?
LeDoux is 25-9 and 3 draws with 17 knockouts, according to Ring Magazine. 31 years old, from Crosby, Ironton, Minnesota. Monroe, 26, 5 years younger. 19 wins, no defeats, and a draw. He's had 10 knockouts, according to Ring. He's a boxer, but he likes to take to the attack, doesn't he?
He's a boxer. Monroe can punch, especially with that left hook.
Referee is Denny Nelson of St. Paul. The judges Leroy Benson and Bert Herrick. Now Wild right missing with 2 minutes remaining in round one. Good solid right, and that jarred Monroe. And LeDoux going to the body with a vengeance.
He hurt Monroe, no question about that. I told you this would be an interesting first round.
And we'll tell you more about Scott LeDoux and his plight after this round, because he is on the spot as well as far as his career is concerned. Round one, and the crowd unquestionably on LeDoux's side. He likes to fight in his hometown, although he hasn't always been successful fighting here. Crowd yelling, LeDoux, LeDoux. And that's got to affect Monroe.
Yes, it does. Nothing like having that home crowd behind you. That's worth 10 points.
It didn't help him against Mike Weaver, but Weaver, of course, far more experienced than Marty Monroe. Round one.
That's what I'm talking about. There you go, Leader. Turn him over.
Oh, we had a rough, tough first round yesterday, and we have it again today, Dick. These guys are really teeing off.
Less than 30 seconds remaining in round one. Scott LeDoux against Marty Monroe. LeDoux 5 years older. They both started fighting in 1974. Going to the body in this first round is Scott.
He has that 20-pound weight advantage. If the fight goes a long way, it could prove decisive.
LeDoux 223, Monroe 203 and a half.
Don't wait on him.
Monroe is 6'3", has a slight height advantage. Shot left to the body, wild right. That's the way Scott fights. He's a club fighter from the word go.
Right. Went for the home run ball then and missed. It's been a rough, tough first round.
And you've got to feel that Monroe has some butterflies. So let's take a closer look now at Scott LeDoux, who has not won in over a year. And he knows that if he loses today, he could be in a lot of trouble, and he indicated that to me earlier. Scott, I guess that we are not exaggerating when we say that this is perhaps the most critical fight you've ever been in your life.
This is the most critical fight of my life. I got to win. There's no tomorrows, and we're going out fighting that way. We got to win today.
And of course, if you don't, what happens then?
Well, we'll think about that next year, because we're not going to lose today.
You've trained for Lyle, but now you're facing a different kind of fighter today.
We trained for a mean, tough fight. We're not going to get it from this guy. We're going to give him a mean, tough fight.
Well, we want to tell you that a lot of you fans were watching the Kansas City-Seattle game with Kansas City Kings beating Seattle in a surprise 113-93. As we get set for round two, as Scott LeDoux, with strong body punching, won that round, Gilroy.
Yes, he did. I thought so. Not a question of winning the round. It's what it's going to take out of Monroe later. Let's see if Monroe gets that left hand working now.
He needs that crisp jab, Gil.
Yes, he does. Well, they told him to move more. He's moving now.
LeDoux and Monroe, heavyweights on the CBS Sports Spectacular. And yesterday, a whale of a fight with the 10-round draw between Eddie Animal Lopez and Leon Spinks. There's that jab by Monroe. Jarring left.
LeDoux acknowledged it, so good punch. Did not acknowledge too many more of those.
Marty Monroe on the left, facing Scott LeDoux. LeDoux has been knocked out 3 times in his career. Last one by Dwayne Harvick 3 years ago. This is with the right. That was stopped by Monroe's glove.
He came back with that left hook after it.
A right misses. 2 minutes remaining in round number 2. And looks like Marty Monroe's trying to establish that crisp jab. And LeDoux comes right back with one.
Well, he hasn't been as successful with it as Weaver was when he boxed Scotty. Scotty looks a lot quicker today than he did against Weaver.
LeDoux is ranked 12th by the WBC. Monroe, 9th ranked by the World Boxing Council. Both of these fighters unranked according to the WBA. And LeDoux got in there a bit. Monroe is stalking the brawler. That's been the story in the first 2 rounds. Couple of shots to the body, especially that right by LeDoux. Got to do some damage. Here's a right hand.
Right hand by LeDoux.
Right hand to Monroe. Although Monroe does not seem to be too fazed by that punch. Left to the body with a minute remaining in round 2. LeDoux is letting Monroe get him against the rope, but he's countering with the body punch.
Well, he has that 20-pound weight advantage, and he's a strong physical person. Very strong man, Scott LeDoux. You know, they told Monroe to move in his corner after the first round, but he's fighting flat-footed. He's looking to take LeDoux out of there with a punch.
Here's a good right by Monroe. Monroe is not fighting it as the boxer, is he?
No, this is a brawl right now. We mentioned that they didn't like each other. They were at each other, and that's what they're doing now. This has become an alley fight.
Less than a half a minute to go in round number 2. No such thing as jab and move as far as Marty Monroe's concerned, at least to this juncture. Good exchange there.
Good
right hand by Marty. Final seconds to go in round 2 of an action-packed heavyweight fight here in St. Paul, Minnesota. For Johnny Miller as he leads, going to the final round of the Jackie Gleason Inverary Golf You'll see it from Lauderhill, Florida, following this fight on the CBS television network. Round 3, Scott LeDoux, cool and calm, against a boxer who's not fighting as a boxer, Marty Monroe so far.
It could be. Maybe letting personality get in the way of his skills. He wants to get Scott LeDoux out of there. Both corners interesting enough told their fighters to jab.
Good combination by LeDoux. He's going to the body. Good left jab there.
That's what it's all about. Start with the body, go back to the head.
Monroe misses with a wild left. He misses. In fact, no one connected there. LeDoux to the body. This is round 3. Scott LeDoux's a tough man to bring down. As we said, knocked out only 3 times in his career. He has not won a fight in over a year. His last victory was a 3rd-round knockout of Jim Beattie here in Bloomington, February 20th, 1979.
Put your hands together, buddy.
Good right, following the left jab.
Monroe wants to punch with him.
If Monroe jabs, he looks like he can get in, Gil.
That's right. Well, he has the height advantage. He's got a fast left jab. He just wants to out-brawl a brawler.
And he's missing those wild roundhouse lefts and rights. And LeDoux is in control if he's not in total command.
Heavyweight fight, one punch can change that control right around. Go either way.
Round 3, especially when you have this kind of an exchange. Monroe, 10 knockouts, and his 19 victories. He's won his last 15 in a row. But this is his first name opponent that he's ever faced with a minute remaining in the 3rd round. And a very vociferous and enthusiastic crowd here in St. Paul on a snowy day in the Twin Cities. LeDoux missed the right.
But the fact is that he was able to throw it without Monroe making him pay could be a significant factor. Anytime a guy misses a punch like that, you're supposed to counter. Tell him not to do it again. That was a free shot.
Well, in the brawler-boxer battle, you've got to be a crisp puncher with the jab, and you've got to be able to move. And that's what Monroe has to do, but he's going at it in a different style here. His game plan is different. And a good combination and several rights by Scott LeDoux. Countering here, and LeDoux, now Monroe comes back with a few. And final seconds of round 3. Scott LeDoux fighting in his hometown, knowing his career really is on the line because he hasn't won in over a year against Marty Monroe. LeDoux is training for a different kind of fighter in Ron Lyle.
Well, LeDoux he's got himself in shape. That's the important thing. Whether it's Ron Lyle or Marty Monroe, he's in shape. Between rounds, Bondini had a big argument with the referee. I don't know what it was about, but it was pretty vociferous.
10-point must system here. Denny Nelson of St. Paul is the referee.
Now they have Monroe moving. Now he's moving. First 3 rounds, he's flat-footed. Now he's trying to use the ring. Let's see if he keeps it up.
Going with the jab. He's got to establish that jab to do anything else, Gil, right?
That's right. He can't beat LeDoux with his left hand. I don't know what. Just doesn't have a chance. LeDoux is just too strong inside physically.
And LeDoux has been effective doubling and tripling those overhead rights.
That's right. That's been the difference in LeDoux today. There you go.
Wild left, but Monroe's got to come back right away there. We want to tell our stations along the line that we will be taking a station break following this round 4. And we have less than 2 minutes remaining in round 4. Scott LeDoux against Marty Monroe. LeDoux with his back to you. 31 years old with 25 wins in his career. Monroe unbeaten, but never really getting the big test. His last fight, November of '79, a 7th-round knockout over Henry Lumpkins in Los Angeles.
You know, it's really strange about fighters now. They told Monroe to move between rounds, and he moves for 30 seconds, and then he forgets all about the corner instructions, and he tries to stand flat-footed with the brawler.
I think poise has a lot to do in this fight because we have Monroe who may be over-anxious with his taunting of Scott LeDoux both before the fight and yesterday at the weigh-in, and he may be over-anxious. Minute to go in the 4th round. On our our card, LeDoux has won the first 3.
That's right. You know, if I was in Marty Monroe's corner, I'd be telling him to box and move side to side, just win the fight on points. But he wants to knock LeDoux out.
There's that jab by Monroe, but LeDoux's come back with that overhead right. And a good jab right back by Scott. He hasn't ignored that punch either. Half a minute remaining in round 4. So Scott LeDoux and Marty Monroe battling in round 4 here in St. Paul, Minnesota. And a left and a good right by Marty Monroe. And we'll be back with the 5th round here in St. Paul after this word from your local station. Dick Stockton and Gil Clancy, round 5 of our scheduled 10-round heavyweight bout between Scott LeDoux, has a 20-pound weight advantage over Marty Monroe of Los Angeles, who's 26 and undefeated.
Between rounds, Joe Daskowitz and LeDoux's corner, he says, as long as you have things going for you, don't change your thing. Just keep doing what you're doing. That's pretty good advice.
Monroe, the jab and the move more now than before.
He starts out every round that way, but then he settles down.
And he starts to brawl with the wild punches.
LeDoux's punches haven't been that wild. He's been very, very accurate. That left hook underneath has been very good. He's thrown some straight right hands on the chin. Also a few good jabs.
He has fought the intelligent fight thus far, has Scott. Don't forget, next Sunday, a week from today on the CBS Sports Spectacular, we have a whale of a fight for you. 10-round welterweight bout between Wilfred Benitez, whose only loss has been to Sugar Ray Leonard. He wants another shot at Sugar Ray. He goes against Brooklyn's Irish Johnny Turner. And this will be Benitez's first fight since the loss last November to Sugar Ray. We'll be with you 1 o'clock Eastern time on the CBS Sports Spectacular. Monroe has really not hurt LeDoux with his jab thus far. But there, coming right back, LeDoux is jarred. Corner yelling, use that jab. Good combination. And LeDoux is getting hit a bit this round.
He's getting hit more than a bit.
Round 5. Crowd on its feet. They don't like to see their hometown favorite get hit. LeDoux has had the edge on our card, winning the first 4 rounds. We have a minute remaining in the 5th round. And a right inside by Scott LeDoux. Question is LeDoux starting to get a bit weary? A good inside right uppercut by Marty Monroe.
LeDoux is using that weight now, trying to smother Monroe.
Less than a half a minute to go, round 5. LeDoux, in effect, fighting for his life, and Monroe fighting for acclamation and a chance to move up in a wide-open heavyweight division. Marty Monroe on the left. Final seconds of round number 5. Good overhand right. He comes right back with it, and LeDoux has been hit. He gets hit with a solid right, and LeDoux is in trouble in this round. Stunned as they work on the top of that left eye. Let's see what Marty Monroe did. There's a solid right. Best punch, Gil.
Yes, well, he caught LeDoux coming in, and that's when you can really hurt a guy. LeDoux threw a right hand, and then Monroe caught him coming. He had LeDoux in a little bit of trouble at the end of that round.
So that was Monroe's round. Don't forget, next Saturday on the CBS Sports Spectacular, International Mixed Pairs Gymnastics, you will see Kurt Thomas, Tracy Talavera, Marcia Frederick, and Bart Connor compete against the world's best in the Mixed Pairs Gymnastics, as well as World Cup skiing, with Ingemar Stenmark and Phil Mayer scheduled to compete next Saturday at 5 on the CBS Sports Spectacular. This is round 6, and Monroe won the last round with that solid right. Let's see if he can continue the momentum here.
Good right hand by LeDoux, and another one.
Good left jarred him. Left hook jarred Monroe. He's coming out strong here, and he hurt Marty Monroe.
You know, LeDoux has always been a strong guy, but never a very big puncher. He's a clubbing puncher. He just doesn't get people out of there with one punch, but he's landed some good solid shots at the beginning of this round.
LeDoux wants to show Monroe that last flurry did not have an endearing effect on him, and he came out strong to start this round. Good right inside, again a right.
This is a tough fight for heavyweights. Tough fight.
Well, there's a lot at stake for each of the fighters, but for different reasons, with 2 minutes remaining in round 6. Neither one of them, of course, will be on the verge of getting a title shot. Monroe just wants people to know who he is.
LeDoux is now bleeding from the nose.
He is. And Scott just trying to hang on and survive perhaps for another day. Solid right by LeDoux, and he follows it up, and Monroe comes right back.
Good combination by Monroe. In that case, it was LeDoux with 1 punch and Monroe with 2.
Monroe. Good left jab, and now coming around with a right again. And LeDoux may be getting tired.
Well, he looks a little worse for wear right now.
Round 6 of our scheduled 10-round heavyweight fight here live from St. Paul Civic Center in St. Paul, Minnesota. Dick Stockton and Gil Clancy on the CBS Sports Spectacular. LeDoux connected with a right.
Right on the button. But again, he's not a big puncher, LeDoux.
And that's why Monroe, there he's charged with the right hand, just as we were about to say that Monroe hasn't shown that much of effect of LeDoux's punches singularly, was jarred there. Less than a minute to go in round 6.
That was the best way. Oh, he got hit on the chin with the right hand. He just shook his head at LeDoux and said, no. How do you like this? What a tough kid this is.
Monroe looks to have all his faculties despite that flurry.
This is about as tough a round as you'll ever see in a heavyweight fight.
An exciting round 6, and both fighters hanging in there with a half a minute to go. It started out like the LeDoux's round, but Monroe's come back, and now LeDoux scoring with the right.
Both fighters have forgotten all about body punching. Everything's to the head. LeDoux was doing better when he was going up and down. Now it's all to the head.
Coming up after the fight, the final round of the Jackie Gleason Inverary Golf Classic with Johnny Miller in the lead. But here in round 7, we have a tremendous fight. 2 heavyweights, both with something at stake. LeDoux, near survival perhaps.
Now, earlier today we were talking to Bundini, who's working with Marty Monroe. He said he's not a left and right man. He said, but what he likes to do is give a fighter spirit. And that's certainly what he's done in the corner today with Marty Monroe. This kid's taking some shots, and he's still there, and he's still winging.
So his cocky, very confident attitude before the fight is really played out.
That's the punch, that left hook underneath. LeDoux, for a couple of rounds, forgot all about the body.
He started out this fight by going after Monroe's body, and he won those first few rounds. We have him leading in this fight, by the way, with Monroe winning the 5th round. Round 7. Minute gone in round number 7. I wonder why LeDoux is going after the big punch when he probably knows he has the lead on points at this point.
Fighters don't know. He's not sure. It's a very subjective sport. You have to make sure you win a fight. No slide rules in there, you know.
LeDoux's nose is bloodied again by the repeated left jab of Marty Monroe. Monroe off balance with that right, but LeDoux didn't come back at him.
Oh, they're both a little tired right now, and it's starting to show. Both tired.
LeDoux just kind of threw Monroe against the rope.
Monroe's legs are starting to give out a little bit now.
Don't forget, LeDoux lost to Mike Weaver in Bloomington. You saw it on CBS last November. And Weaver's getting a title shot. That's how close LeDoux could have come to getting a title shot. Now things fluctuate rapidly in the heavyweight division. Marty Monroe wants to be heard. Crisp left jab at LeDoux with less than a minute remaining in round 7. Live from St. Paul, Minnesota. We've had some tremendous action fights on the CBS Sports
Monroe is now moving on his legs. He's trying to move and box side to side instead of standing still.
But at this point, if he is indeed behind on points, he's got to do something to take LeDoux out of there. He's getting in with the jab.
Yes, he certainly is.
Half a minute remaining in the 7th round. But how much damage is it doing? Is the question.
Well, you know, LeDoux is also landing a jab. He's got short arms, but he's very accurate with that left jab.
Well, it's the timing, not so much the reach, but the timing of that left jab that really does the damage. Final seconds of round 7 as Scott misses with a wild right. Marty Monroe with his unbeaten record on the line this afternoon. We'll be back. Round number 8 here in St. Paul. Kurt Thomas and Tracy Talavera, victorious in America Cup Gymnastics. You'll see them team up next week on the CBS Sports Spectacular for our International Mixed Pairs Gymnastics, 5 o'clock Eastern next Saturday. We have LeDoux 5-1 and 1 even.
Well, right now, I think Monroe is going to have to make some rally to get back and win this fight. He's been in every round, tough rounds, but LeDoux has won most of the rounds, in my opinion, in our opinion.
And the story here, Gil, is the fact that the brawler LeDoux is also fighting a very smart fight, like a boxer would.
But that's that experience. He has the experience. He's been in with all the tough ones.
Sure has. Ron Lyle, he had a 10-round loss to him, 10-round draw with Ken Norton, which was a controversial fight.
Monroe is starting to wake up now. He's throwing some good combinations.
Good overhand right by Scott LeDoux after the wild left by Monroe. This is round 8, a minute gone by. Both fighters getting weary, understandably, because we have had a tremendous amount of action up to this point.
Big right.
LeDoux just peppering away inside.
Smart fighter LeDoux. He's killing the clock now. He can hit a couple of good punches, moving his hands, scoring points.
He just has to avoid getting hit for the punch that'll knock him down or out.
Again, Dick, that's our opinion. Then when he goes underneath, he goes back up on top. He's much more effective.
What are your feelings about Monroe?
Monroe is a good prospect. He's got a punch with either hand. He's showing a lot of courage. Look at these beautiful combinations, just when he just threw now. He has ability. He caught LeDoux on a real good day. Doesn't have the experience.
He looks like a well-founded fighter in there, well-schooled.
He's got the hands, but he hasn't been using his legs. Big, tall guy.
Minute to go here in round number 8. There's been no knockdown. But many exchanges. LeDoux went to the body early. Got away from that strategy, but he's been effective with the overhead right several times, and that's where he's picked up his points as he won. According to our tabulation, 5 of the first 6 rounds.
LeDoux now has a cut inside his mouth. I don't know how bad it is or how much it's going to bother, but he has it.
Good left jab with less than 30 seconds remaining in round 8. Monroe's got to put a few of these together.
He has been this round. He's scoring some punishing punches.
Good left jab. Misses with the right, however, but it's been Monroe's round. We'll have only 2 left when we return to St. Paul after this flurry in a moment.
Now you know the gas.
Clancy, Marty Monroe looks relatively unscathed, although we have LeDoux ahead, but he came on strong in that last round and has looked good. Let's see if we can listen in.
You're bad now, honey. But it's only if you get lazy now.
2 rounds left. Let's just keep going.
Keep yourself busy. 9 and 10. Come on, buddy.
He's giving him a pep talk.
That's right.
Scott LeDoux, on the other hand.
Scott LeDoux looks like he's all right. He knows he has 6 minutes to go.
This is round 9, and LeDoux has a lot at stake. Besides mere survival, he knows that if he wins this, he will fight up-and-coming heavyweight Jerry Cooney on the CBS Sports Spectacular, April 19th. So LeDoux knows what this fight means for him. And we've talked about Monroe finally getting some national exposure after really not being able to get decent fights for a long time in his career.
Well, with the heavyweight situation the way it is today, whether Monroe wins or loses, you're going to see him again. He's an exciting heavyweight. Takes punishment and dishes it out.
Well, we've talked about the Greg Pages and the Cooneys and the Marty Monroes and the people hanging on and trying to get back into things, such as Scott LeDoux, Spinks with the comeback attempt. It's a wide open and it's a fun affair, really.
And just yesterday, Eddie Lopez.
Left to the midsection. We're in round 9.
That is effective. He started on top and then dug a good left hook to the body.
Minute gone by in this 9th round. We have had nothing resembling the possibility of a knockdown in this fight. And you can see LeDoux again going to the middle. seem to have any cuts, problems.
LeDoux is letting Monroe get off a little too much more. He has to start using that weight to push Marty back.
He's a tough brawler, Scott LeDoux.
Yes, he is. Now he's going to be able to take charge now, though. He's backing up.
Well, Monroe knows he's got to come at him. Scott has fought a very smart fight this afternoon. Left jab, connecting by Marty. Forget he has that undefeated record, 19-0 and 1 draw according to Ring with 10 knockouts. That right missed by Scott. That jab has worked for Monroe, but he hasn't followed up on it. There's the right.
LeDoux's giving him too much room now.
Said Marty has not been that strong a puncher.
Oh, he can punch, believe me. LeDoux takes a very good punch. That's what it is.
30 seconds remaining in round 9.
Mouth is bleeding again. LeDoux's mouth is bleeding. Big right
Coming
hand.
back with a right and then a left. Flicking that jab right at him is Monroe. As LeDoux against the ropes. Final seconds of round 9. But it's been a tremendous fight. LeDoux and Monroe, and we'll go to the 10th. Well, Scott LeDoux has had the nose cut and the cut in the mouth, and it's been Marty Monroe who's really carried the last 3 rounds.
LeDoux has fought a very, very tactical fight the last 2 rounds.
The executive producer of the CBS Sports Spectacular is Eddie Einhorn, the coordinating producer Ed Gordon, as we go to the 10th and final round of our 10-round heavyweight bout, and it's been action-packed all the way, Gil Clancy.
It certainly has. This has been another good heavyweight fight. This very well could, we have LeDoux ahead, but it's close. This could very well be the round that decided it. Very well.
Monroe has come on just as Animal Lopez came on yesterday in the latter rounds. We have him winning 3 of the last 4 or 5 rounds.
This referee has been a very, very good referee. We just haven't seen him at all, and that's a sign of a good referee.
That's what you want. Denny Nelson of St. Paul.
LeDoux continues to back up. And right now, I think he should take the offense and start throwing that right hand underneath and hooking off it. And don't let Marty get set and snap that jab out the way he's been doing the last 3 rounds.
And you want to convince the judges, too, that you're on the offense at the end of that fight. 10th and final round. Fighters are tired, but they're still in there punching. Left by LeDoux.
Well, LeDoux.
Monroe going after him now.
Monroe shook him up with a right hand a couple of seconds earlier.
And another
now
left.
Shakes his head.
LeDoux says, no, you didn't hurt me, but 2 more left jabs have definitely affected and hurt Scott LeDoux, but he's big and a 20-pound weight advantage, serving him well here.
Yeah, the referee's breaking right away.
Don't forget, next Sunday, we'll be in Miami, Florida.
Monroe was just talking to LeDoux. This is no time to talk. This is a time to fight.
He talked before. Here's that jab. Wilfred Benitez only lost to Sugar Ray Leonard in 39 fights against Irish Johnny Turner next Sunday on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Good punches by LeDoux.
And what a finish here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Our fight has been produced by Mike Pearl, directed by Bob Fishman. We've had 2 great heavyweight fights as far as action concerned this weekend on CBS. Minute to go in the final round.
Oh, this going right down to the wire, Dick. Right down to the wire.
Monroe has dominated the last several rounds, and the question is, did he amass enough points to win this thing?
He hasn't dominated this round. This has been a tough round. They've both been giving it out this round. Depends on what you like. That's a good punch. That right hand underneath.
Less than a half a minute to go. Here's an exchange. Good left and another left by Monroe. And Monroe peppering LeDoux in the final seconds of this fight. I like Monroe in this round.
He has LeDoux hurt. He has him hurt. What a finish.
And Marty Monroe has come on strong in the final seconds of this 10th round, and it'll be in the hands of the judges after Scott LeDoux had dominated the early rounds. A fine fight here in St. Paul and a standing ovation here at the Civic Center. And Marty Monroe is pleased. Scott LeDoux is pleased. We'll be back to find out who indeed has won this fight. Vision here, and a close one it could very well be. And don't forget, Scott LeDoux has not always had things go his way here in the Twin Cities. You know, he lost to Mike Weaver, and he had that draw against Ken Norton, and a lot of people thought that LeDoux might have won. So earlier, he had said to us that perhaps the fact that he is fighting in his hometown doesn't always mean a big advantage as far as the judges, who may bend over backwards. So we'll await to see what the judges say, but at least in the early rounds, we had the feeling that Scott LeDoux came out with the body punches and the overhead rights, but Monroe came on strong. Gil Clancy, you're on microphone. What are your thoughts?
I think it's right up in the air right now. Could go either way.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Scott, we have you here right now, momentarily. What do you think of? What do you think?
We know we won the fight. He didn't get a chance to fight.
He came on strong at the end, though, Scott.
He came strong at the end, but we had early rounds, and we stood him off with a jab, I thought.
I want to tell the people who are waiting for the final round of the Jackie Gleason Inverary Golf Tournament that will be with you for the final round action with Johnny Miller leading in just a short while. We are waiting for a decision following an action-packed fight here that went the distance 10 rounds between Marty Monroe, who really never had a shot and wouldn't have gotten a shot if he hadn't had the situation whereby Ron Lyle's nose was broken in a sparring session. Let's pick it up.
Commissioner Bill Schmidt at my side. The decision is unanimous. I will read the point totals. Denny Nelson referees, he's at 97-93. Mert Herrick at ringside judging 97-96. Leroy Benson judging at ringside. It's 98-94. The winner unanimously, Scott LeDoux.
Scott LeDoux. LeDoux has won the fight. Scott, this could have been the end of the line, and you have survived dramatically.
I thank God for this. I thank my family and my people for staying with me. I love all of them, and this is why I do it.
Scott LeDoux is now going to face Jerry Cooney April 19th on CBS.